Our wonderful topic we started last week. Last week we talked about the modern man. We had a lot of information that is going to help us to be able to stay trendy in this world. Today, we are going to talk about the modern man and its integrity. I have a quote over here from Proverbs chapter 20 verse 7. It's saying that a just man walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. That is a quote from Proverbs. And so no matter what, your integrity is most important, irrespective of what you have. Another blogger also gave a message, and I want to read it to you. He's saying that a well-rounded, broad set of skills and mental exercise is definitely important for the modern man, but more important is his character, integrity, and contribution to the society and his locality. And so to be a modern man, you have to be of a good character. Your integrity matters most. Today you are welcome, my dear viewer, to Family Life. And I have three strong men. Today is men's talk. It's not about women anymore. My wonderful guests are here. I have Mr. Kobna Holman from Holman Consults Limited. And then Mr. Danny Tufo from Esler Groups of Company. He is Executive Director. Mr. Holman is also the CEO of Holman Consulting Limited. And I have on Zoom my own and honorable doctor and a psychologist, Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Today is going to be a wonderful day. What do you think?
Yeah, it will be.
Yes. My dear viewer, do you know the secret? Let me describe these people to you. I have an entrepreneur in the social entrepreneurship circle. I have an entrepreneur in the business circle. And I have a medical doctor and a psychologist. So just imagine how the discussion is going to be very hot. We want to know the integrity of the modern man. My name is Mrs. Betty Adam. You are welcome once again to Family Life. And my guest, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Elder Holman, as for this elder, dear, today, hey, elder, go away. And let me call Mr. Kobna Holman.
Just call me Kobna Holman and be free.
Kobna Holman and be free, okay?
Yes.
But you know, when the dignity is there, there is no way you can run away from it. Anyway, Mr. Tufo, Alaji, how are you?
I'm great. I'm doing well.
And now it's Esler Group of Companies.
Esler Group is doing well. Yeah.
I know you are having an upcoming program.
Yeah.
If you talk about it, I'll come for free. Yes, so what is it about?
Well, that's the Young African Women Congress.
Yes,
it's
yes.
an annual Pan-African women convocation.
Okay.
So participants come from various countries across the African continent, and also Pan-African women in the diaspora also attend. So the focus of the program is to advance the women empowerment agenda. So we have in the various aspects of the women empowerment, so women in leadership, women in corporate governance, trade, entrepreneurship, women in the development sector.
Okay, so when you finish, you give me 1,000 Ghana cedis.
Well,
okay, so thank you so much. You are doing well in the women's sector, and we are so grateful that you are still empowering women to pick up their own womanhood. It's great. Mr. Holman,
yes, I'm
how is Holman Consulting?
We're doing well. Yes, just living by grace.
Wow. Has the COVID impacted?
Yes, I mean, not as a business, but the client we serve.
Okay.
Yeah, so once the clients are affected, indirectly you're also affected. Your invoices definitely going to be delayed.
Wow. Dr. Newman Arthur. Hello, dog.
Hello.
I could see when the covers aside, you were a little bit free. Oh?
Oh, I've never been free.
Oh. Why?
Nature, we are medical doctors. We are never free.
Oh, Oh, so how was your day today?
It's been tiring.
Sorry. But
tiring.
no matter what, today you are going to talk about the modern man. The modern man and his integrity. So let's quickly zoom into our discussion for today. Just as I said, my outfit, the wonderful fabric is given to me by ATL. And ATL, we say thank you for your support. Continue to support family life and let us enjoy the presence of our Maker in our life. Shall we pray as we begin our discussion today? Father, we commit today's preaching, today's topic into your hands. Your strong men are here to help us to understand the modern man and his integrity. Fill them with your spirit and let them talk with your spirit. So eyes, ears, nose, every aspect of the human being will hear, feel, and smell that indeed a modern man needs to have integrity in the society. May your name be praised, O God, as you continue to lead us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Gentlemen, yes, we are talking about modern man. Last week, we were able to talk more about modern man. Today, we want to see the modern man and his integrity. But first, I want to pick from a very controversial aspect of it, his sexual integrity. Please, I'm serious. You know, the main reason why I'm saying this is that men are well built. When you are a modern man, you see everything about you is modern. I want to find out, do you really face sexual challenges?
Personally, I would say no. Yes, but the world we live in now, let me rephrase my thoughts. The devil is clever.
Okay.
So what he's doing now is making sure that the feeling of guilt of sin is lessened.
Okay.
Or even non-existent, especially when it comes to sexual morality. Back in the day where we revered sex, we saw it as something that is sacred. But these days it's not, I mean, it's nothing, let me put it that way. So once a guy and a lady are going out, society straight away thinks that they are sleeping together. These days, married men...
Are they sleeping together or society is just thinking that they are sleeping?
Yes, I mean, it could be happening.
Okay.
Even when it's not happening, because we've accepted it to be the norm that a male and a female cannot go out without engaging in sexual activity. We just assume that it's happening.
Okay, okay.
Married men are cheating, married women are cheating. And it's not new. But the boldness with which it's being done now and the way society is accepting it now makes it, in quote, normal. Okay. So that the people who are not involved in that activity are now seen to be the odd ones out. So today, if a woman accuses a man that you've slept with her, 8 out of 10 men judging the matter will find you the man guilty.
Okay.
Because it's normal. They themselves would have done it, so they don't see why you would say that you didn't do it. I remember having a conversation with one of my clients, and we're just talking. I think he's having an extramarital affair. So he thought I was also doing the same. So we spoke, and I told him, no, I mean, I don't do those things. And he was shocked. What am I saying? It's normal. Even his boss, that he sees him to be more like a sanctimonious Christian, because almost every Monday there's a pastor who is coming to the office for them to have devotion. Fridays he comes before they close. He's sleeping with the girls in the office. So you can understand why
a modern man.
I would say that I'm not engaged in such promiscuity.
Okay.
But what I would say is that it's also a matter of your mind. Just as you read from the quotes, and the Bible also talks about good name is better than riches. So you should purpose in your mind that you don't want to engage in that activity. So you don't allow that thought to get registered in your subconscious that it's possible for me to cheat. Every man cheats, so there's a likelihood that I would cheat. It gets registered in your mind. So that when the opportunity presents itself, because you've not trained yourself to say no, you might easily fall for it. I mean, I say Timothy is a wise young man in the Bible. He said flee. He didn't say run. He didn't say walk. He said flee. Because he knows what that can do to you.
Okay.
It's brought great men down.
Yes.
Even in recent times. Just I think about a week or two ago, the UK health, is it the health minister? He was caught on camera having a amorous relationship with, I think, the secretary, his PA, and he was forced to resign.
Wow.
Yeah, so it has brought many great men down. Clinton, recently, I think Bill Gates has also suffered same incident. So if you don't train yourself to say no, and then also don't put yourself in situations where your resolve will be tested, you can easily avoid the temptations. Okay,
let me go to Mr. Danny Tofo. Is it because the way men carry themselves, especially modern men, that is why they are falling into that sexual promiscuity or what? Why?
Well, if you ask me, I would say that when it comes to sexual promiscuity, it has been there ever since. It's not something that is peculiar with modern men.
Okay.
Just that back in the days, laws and traditions and customs warranted certain things like polygamous lifestyle and all of that. In our times, especially those of us who find ourselves in the Christendom, I mean, and you do a formal wedding, you can't have an extra woman. So the temptation has always been there. Just that the former, they had the chance to legitimize it. So they can have 3 wives, they can have 4 wives, they can have 5 wives, and what have you. But in our times, especially those of us who find ourselves in the Christianity, you have to stick with one man. So, one woman. So it's kind of something that is always there. And so because it cannot be legitimized in this regard, they have to sneak out and be doing it. Just like Elder ended it, it's all got to do with your mind and your choices. Yes, in the olden days, people were marrying 3, 4, 5, but there were some who were also marrying 1. Yes. And they married 1 till they died. It's not every man that was marrying 3 wives, 5 wives, and what have you. So it is up to you to decide whether, as a modern man, you have a wife, or be single and be sleeping around, or be single, or have a wife and be committed to that particular woman, or be single and stay in your lane till you decide to get married.
Okay, before I go to Dr. Onzium, there is this trend that is really something that is happening in the society. People are really building themselves, the men, in order to enter into prostitution. And that is what I want to find out. For me, I see it to be funny. But let me speak from your men's side. How do you see this in terms of your integrity as a man?
Yeah, let me put it this way. It's not that men are building themselves for prostitution. These days, we are getting more health conscious.
Okay.
So we are eating, we are all checking our diets, we are exercising. And as a form of fitness for men, being in the gym is one aspect of it. And if you are in there and then you lift the metals and then the muscle, I mean, it's a plus. It makes you look good.
The 6
yes, you get your 6 packs. Your dresses fit you well. Okay. You look nice in the mirror and all of that. And that has its own attraction. I mean, every woman wants a guy who is handsome. You can't do away with that one. Like a guy who is handsome. Why? Who doesn't like what is good? Everybody likes what is good.
Okay.
Okay. So when a woman wants a man that she can be proud of, so a woman would like a gentleman who is intelligent. So when the man stands up and is talking, everywhere that I know that's my husband talking and she's proud of. That is one aspect. If the man is good and I'm walking by the man, I should feel cool that yes, this is my husband that I'm working with. Everybody like good things. So if the gentleman is, if he happens to be even have the height and has the body, and then these days to just leave the go the beard,
then that one is, and if you are a little fair too,
exactly, then
the story changes.
Yes, your market is there. But back to what you're saying too. So things go on because there's demand for it.
Okay.
We're getting perverted as society. Like I said, social immorality is going to some extent that these days, back in the day, we have young men chasing the woman and all of that. Now it's changed. I mean, women can walk up to you. If a woman likes you these days, she can just walk up to you and tell you, I like you. I want to have something to do with you.
That is the modern man's sister.
Yes, they can walk up to you and tell you what they some is just no matter of just having a relationship. They just want to have a fling with you and then we'll move on. So we have these days to the emancipated women, let me put it that way, very successful business women who do not want to marry, but want to live their lives, but still need men to satisfy them. They go out there for some of these guys. So like I said, the market is there. So you find them, they go to the gym, walk around, they dress well, make sure they have the nice perfumes and all of that. Have some, a small car or some decent car, they move around. You go to the malls, they are there. You go there in the morning, they are there. Go there afternoon, they are there. Evening, they are there.
Wow.
These women will come for them.
So right now, it's not the men who are chasing the women, rather the women are chasing the men.
What men can do, women can also do.
The center of all this is money.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are men who are, I won't say they are lazy, but they may not want to stress themselves so much. So they want to invest in their outlook. And as Elder was saying, every woman likes a well-kept man. And so when they invest in their outlook, there are women, like he said, who are, I mean, whether by accident or design, are not marrying and have decided not to marry. But like he said, they still need men, I mean, around them. So they are there. And they are not just giving free sex to them, but giving it out in exchange for money.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So I don't know whether that is what you call prostitution, but that is how it is. Just like we have some women who are in the upperlands, they say slave queens, who are always investing in their outlook, their colors and all that, sitting in you know, cozy environment, not stressing themselves, and there are men who could offer them much to you know, be with them and all that.
Well, let me get to doctor and see if, doctor, is there any psychological issue with it? Because I don't understand it. How can a man really decide to develop him or himself just to have sexual pleasure, or just to get a woman? And how does that play in terms of his integrity as a modern man?
So, you know, any sexual activity is only a symptom of a bigger problem.
Okay. That,
you know, sex is only a mask. You know, sex is only the final outcome. And so if you look at various sexual behaviors, sex, the activity itself is not the core of the problem, but the reasons behind, and also what the actual diagnosis is.
Okay.
So there are a lot of things that influence these sexual behaviors. Let me say this: when it comes to men, sex is a need. When it comes to women, sex is a relationship. So even when it comes to marriage and sexual related things, research has shown that men would have sex because it's a need. Women who have sex or have an extramarital affair, especially when they are exiting a certain relationship into the next relationship. So when they realize that this marital relationship is not working out well and is likely to end, then they begin to form relationships with other people, and then that sexual activity goes on. But with men, it's different. There are three things that every man seeks for, longs for, in order to find some kind of fulfillment. There are three things. One is peace. One is pleasure. The second is pleasure. Then the third is support, even for purpose. And so, generally, there are three things every man needs: peace, pleasure, and support, even for his purpose. It is in peace that they are able to dream. It is in pleasure that they are refreshed to carry out the dream. And it's in support that helps the vision or the dream to be established.
Wow.
And every woman needs three things: appreciation, admiration, and also freedom. So when it comes to male, female, our build, our psychology, the way we think, the way we see is different. And men are driven by their sight. Women are driven by their, by touch, by words. And so sometimes it becomes some way, lack of understanding, that you tell a man that, oh, a woman is passing, don't look. Sometimes I tell people that of all the things around, what is the most pleasurable or the most beautiful or the most attractive to a man? It's a woman. It's as simple as that.
Wow.
So any man who is natural, any man who is a man is driven by what they see. But the differences amongst men is their ability to hold on to the actions they take, or their reactions to what they see. That is the difference. The difference between men is the ability to hold on, the ability, and the steps that they take towards what they see. So all men notice, all men see, all men are moved, but not all moved men, take action towards what they are moved by. And that is the difference.
Okay.
So integrity on that level means that you see, but you don't take any action. And that is the differences. That is the differences amongst men. So you can fast 40 days and 40 nights, go to the hills, go do whatever you want to do. You come back, you see a beautiful one walking. Your eyes will pick that woman. But the steps towards that woman is what not every man has mastered the confidence or has mastered the self-control not to be able to take that action. So that is what separates men. And if you look at sexual behaviors amongst, human beings generally, you realize that there are some people who are, let me mention about 4 different groups. I put them.
Okay.
The first is what I call the damaged. The damaged are people who from childhood have had some kind of experiences from childhood that has altered their ability to control their sexual urges or granted them a certain perception about sex that is inappropriate. So, for example, a boy who was abused sexually, as a child, or grew up in a certain traumatic relationship as a child, or a child who was introduced to pornography and stuff, right at the beginning of his life, that child is likely to have some sex-related problems in future. So if you see a certain man, involved in a certain sexual behavior, it may not just be the sexual behavior, but it may be a product of a major, damaging, activity that happened or experience that the person went through whilst growing up. Okay. So that is the first group. The second group is what I call the perverted. The perverted are men who are just perverted. Everything sex perversion, you find them there. And those men have been groomed from childhood or have been groomed at some point of their lives to be able to have a certain perception, about sex that reduces sex to just an activity. And sometimes they even see women as sex slaves. And for those men, regardless of which woman they marry, they will still not be satisfied with their spouse. And they'll go about and do what they want to do anyway, because they are product of a certain kind of perversion. Because of all the things they've been exposed to, internet and internet-related issues, maybe pornography, maybe some abnormal sexual behaviors, and growing up to, they've been involved in certain sexual practices in the past. And so it becomes difficult. Then the third group I want to talk about is the group I call the drifters. The drifters are people who for some reason have no satisfaction in their marriage, and they tend to form some kind of relationships around their marriage. And those relationships, the intention may not be to go and mess up, but the intention may be, okay, the person needs some company, the person needs, some form of help in some way. you know, and they are the people we call the copers. You know, they use, you know, relationships to cope with current, you know, problems they may be facing. So these people may drift, you know, and gradually drift from their partners. And before they realize, you know, whoever they drifted to, they may not have the intention to go mess up. But before they realize, you know, things are happening and it gets out of hand. Then the fourth group I want to talk about are the group of people who, for some reason, they have some kind of addictions to a certain kind of sexual behavior. So they, you know, maybe they are addicted to pornography, they are addicted to sex, such that they've lost control over their ability to control their sexual urges.
So anything that they see, they follow.
Who have some form of, you know, addictions to some kind of sexual, you know, sexual stuff. And for those people, you know, until they receive some kind of, you know, support in terms of maybe a mental health professional decides to help them, it may be very, very difficult for them to, you know, deal with that. So this is how I group them. So personally, when I see any kind of sexual behavior, I would always look beyond that and find out why. Because some are product of many things. Some may use to cope, some may be as a result of perversion, some may be as a result of all kinds of things. And so until you find out why they do what they do, you may not be able to help them. Then let me add, usually I found that those who drift almost all the time have some defect in their relationship with, if they are Christians, they have some kind of defect even in their relationship with God and how they relate with God and stuff like that. So they also begin to drift away from God, and things that are important no longer becomes important to them, you know, and they begin to drift into things that they may not even have planned for. You know, so you always have to look beyond that activity to find out why, in order to be able to instill some measures to be able to help people who are involved in things that may not be appropriate.
Wow. Wow. Doc, those something, in fact, you've really educated us. But let me come to my viewers on my guests in the studio. Yeah, let's picking from what Doc is saying. As a built man, as a modern man, how do you avoid humanizing?
I think for let's say a married man, you need to make sure you make...
Elder, let me come this way. Let's take this scenario, this situation. The mere fact that you are built, okay, like a modern man, you behave yourself very well. There is the possibility of exploitation from the side of the women. Definitely. How do you avoid that?
No, it's how you respond to those invitations. Sometimes you take certain things for granted. You should know that this position that I'm in now, let's say, let me take myself for example. I know that I'm in a privileged position.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're careful how you relate to the opposite sex and then the kind of signals you give them. Yes. If you see that the signals you've given are misinterpreted, you have to make sure you correct it. You see, sometimes when the women are telling you, be careful with this woman, most often than not, we men forget where you're. Sometimes we the men, like Doc was saying, we see it coming and then we encourage it.
You embrace it.
We encourage it.
You fall into it.
No, you like the attention maybe you are getting, you like whatever. You know what exactly this person wants. Sometimes you think that you are strong, you can resist it. So you encourage it bit by bit, and before you know, you are in. That's what I'm saying, that once you see the signals early,
okay,
you cut it off to make sure that it doesn't transform into something that is going to hurt you in the future.
Let me come to Dan. Dan, you are all of you very good. You are all CEOs, okay? You have a very good female worker, very, very active, very proactive. He does all that. Anything you give to the person, you want to appreciate the person. So you go about, oh, hello, how are you today? That aspect of life, how does it bring temptation to you as the man in such a privileged position that Mr. Holman is talking about?
I think to start with, you have to develop your emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Because all these things has got to do with emotions, how you manage them, and the kind of environment you create in the office area. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of CEOs who seek to play with almost everyone at the setting. So if you don't enjoy certain privileges that other staff are not enjoying. Okay. And as a good CEO, whether people are performing or not, you must learn to appreciate all of them. Because whilst you even do that, you encourage them to do better. So you don't pay extra attention to a staff, then leave the rest behind for the person to feel that you have some interest in her. So that is also very, very important. So you try to manage the environment well. And you, the CEO, you're a leader. So your emotional intelligence should work. Sure. The temptation Clinton and Co fell for, other leaders were able to overcome it and are still overcoming it. So you have to know how to manage it, because whether you like it or not, once you are in the light, these things will come. Okay. They are part of life. They are there.
It comes with the package.
Exactly.
What package are they? Oh, no. What are the packages? Yes, because we just want to know. A lot of men are falling.
Yes.
Their integrity. There are people within the workplace or workspace that even when you go there the first day, you will get people telling you that for this man, be very careful. Be very careful. But yes, this is a well-built man, very. So how do you maintain your integrity in the face of all these short skirts, long skirts, big ties, big hips, and other things? We will go for a short commercial break, and we'll go for a short break. When we come back, we want the men to really tell us, why do they really fall for this short skirt and then the long and the black and the green skirt,
cleavage and all that,
and yes, the eyebrow. I could let me tell you, there was a time I went to a certain bank. I will tell you later when we come back. We'll be right back, my dear viewer.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
My dear viewer, to Family Life on Hope TV. Today is another Thursday, as you know, and we are discussing the modern man and his integrity. My name is Mrs. Betty Adom, and I'm here with 3 strong men, 1 on Zoom, 2 in the studio. I have Mr. Kobna Holman, CEO for Holman Consulting Limited, who is into accounting and all software stuff for business transactions and the rest. And I have Mr. Danny Tufuor. He's also a CEO for Esla Group of Companies. They do a lot of stuff, including International Organization of Women programs and the rest. We have Dr. Isaac Arthur Newman, who is a psychologist and a medical doctor. Today are here to help us to understand why these men fall into the red, black, green, and then the red shoe. We will come back. My wonderful outfit is from ATL. ATL, thank you so much for providing this clothes for Family Life. We thank you for keeping us very beautiful every evening. Just as we are saying, we are talking about the modern man and his integrity. People have decided to polish themselves to spoil their sexual life. But we want to know, why do they really fall? Why do they really fall into this kind of temptation? I'm going straight to Dr. Newman. Doctor, why do the men fall? Huh? Can they hold on a little?
Right. I think I tried to share what some of the reasons may be.
No, let's put the, you have given us the 4 aspects, okay? But I will just want to find out, can they do anything about it? Huh?
Well, you see, what we fail to realize is that everything we become good at, we have some mastery because we've had some kind of experiences in the past. So I make a statement that premarital sex is a rehearsal for extramarital sex. It's a statement that usually I make, because if you look at it carefully, your ability to master it at an early age guarantees your ability to master it at a later age. It's as simple as that. So if you have, for example, 2 people who are dating, who are not married, and they are sleeping together, the likelihood that when they marry, they will also lose that sense of, okay, we shouldn't be doing this. They lose that sense of awareness. So it becomes very, very difficult regardless of all the things that you teach them or see, because it's a certain rehearsal. You rehearse, you develop yourself. Like, for example, when you started this TV show, I'm sure it was quite difficult, the first show, you had to rehearse, in your mind, what you say, what you not say. But now, because you've been doing it consistently, you're kind of very, very good with what you're doing. In the same way, anything that we become successful at, we develop it over time. So I say that falling is not a one-day thing, it's a daily thing. Okay. What you engage in on a daily basis, the things you're able to have mastery over, whilst you're growing up, it becomes easier for you to have mastery over it as you grow older, So that is what I wanted to add to it.
Okay. So
but can I make a statement?
Just make it.
Recently, I looked at a certain statistics about even divorce, right, in Ghana. Actually, divorce in Ghana is not on the rise.
Wow.
You see, the divorce rate in the 60s or so was higher than even now.
Oh.
I think then it was around 6 point something. Now I think it's even reduced to about 3 point something or 4 point something. I can't remember the exact figure, but I saw a trend and I was surprised.
Why?
Sometimes the things we think is the norm is usually not the norm. And we use our circles as the measure of the general population, but usually it's not the case. And it's on all levels. If you look at it carefully, and when I saw that statistic, I was quite amazed. And so we need to be very, very careful when we make general statements about some of these issues. Yes.
So then, Doug, we will come out and find out why that in the 60s it was high and in the 20s it is low. Is it because that people are having satisfaction outside and decide to keep their marriage so people will not lose their integrity or what? We will just look into it. But let's come to the Elder Holman. Elder, financial integrity as a modern man, because people want to stay trendy. They want to look good. And so they have to go all the way to be able to be financially stable. How do a modern man maintain his financial integrity?
Life is not a sprint.
Okay.
It's a marathon. So that means that you take your time. You need to have a strategy. If you watch those who run their 10,000 meters, 5,000 meters, each of the runner has a strategy to run the race. So one, as a man, you know that society has some expectations of you, your own family has some expectations of you, and you yourself have expectations of yourself. Therefore, to have a plan, a financial plan, is very key. you need to know which stage you are in your life, and then make sure that you get the things you need for that stage.
Okay.
As you progress in life, you change your taste according to how you progress. So that means that you match your income according to a strategy. You match your lifestyle according to a plan, the stage in which you are in life.
Okay.
So if your income is 2,000 cedis a month, and you see somebody wearing a 5,000 cedis watch or a 2,500 cedis chain, it's nice, it's beautiful. You don't kill yourself, push yourself wanting to get those. That's how come you end up being in debt.
Okay.
So as a man who has a purpose, your savings should always be on point.
Okay.
You should always make sure that you're saving enough towards your future, because that's the only way you can live a life of comfort. So your savings, you check your expenditure, you make sure that you spend within your means. I mean, at every stage in your life, if you want something that will make you look modern, fashionable, you would find it.
Very good.
I mean, the same thing you buy for, let's say, $5,000 in the US, you can get a China equivalent for maybe $200. Or you go to Okadeco to go and buy something, you can get a similar thing in China Mall.
Okay.
On the face, it looks about the same, but then the quality might differ. So you look at your level and what you can afford, and then you get it.
Okay. Okay, let me quickly quote you. You know, modern men wants to stay trendy, drive the Porsche cars, and so how people are borrowing. What do you want to tell them in terms of financial integrity and some of the investment they need to make?
Okay, so I think what actually gets people into this situation is the fact that they want to be pleasing people.
Yes.
They want to be in competition with others. But you have to know that no one really give a damn about you. You are in competition with yourself. That is what you should have at the back of your mind. Because the one that you think you are pleasing doesn't care about you. Tomorrow, if you find yourself in a problem, the same person will be the one who will spread the news.
Sure.
And so you must live according to your means. If you want to drive an SUV, 2019 model, and you don't have the finances, and when the income you are making cannot, service the loans, why should you go for it? When you could manage maybe a 2015 model for the time being and take your time to save to that side. And unfortunately, even in the churches, these things is entering there.
Yes.
So someone see that this one brought in this car, so he's also working hard to get that. Not working hard as in working hard, but trying to find this stressful means, borrowing or even stealing from the offices and indulging in all kinds of immoral act, bribery. Because
people respect you by the car you park.
That is the issue. And the case, there was a situation in Kumasi some time back in an Adventist church. There was this man, whenever he comes to Ghana, he was living abroad. Whenever he comes to Ghana, he comes to make hefty donations during harvest and all that, contributing hugely to the building. This man goes and comes every 3 months, and he comes to give hugely. Then I think one time when he came and was going back, there was a news that he has been arrested for drug trafficking. So this is what people seek to, be encouraging. And unfortunately, sometimes, even in the churches, we measure people by some of these things. Yes, people don't even care about people's intellect anymore. They measure them by how much they're able to contribute in harvest. And unfortunately, even the leadership are caught up in these things. They seem to be drifting towards people who are able to give and all kinds of things, without even asking where the people are even making those monies from. So,
but before you go on, I have one person here. let's acknowledge our viewer on the Facebook. He's saying that her name is Nanefia Boache. Say kudos to Auntie Betty and the panel. We need more of this series, Men's Talk. Thank you so much. So, Elder, Mr. Tufo, continue.
Yes.
We want to acknowledge our viewers on Facebook, and we have only one person just saying hi to us. So, Afia, thank you so much. We'll do more of that for you.
Yes, so we need to measure our expectations.
Okay.
We don't need to put pressure on ourselves. We don't need to pay attention to society.
So you need not to go about borrowing
not
in
at
order
all.
To stay
Live
trendy.
according. If you are borrowing to invest in your business, that's a good thing.
Okay.
Like
so
Mr.
which areas are we to invest in order to get financial stability and integrity?
It depends.
Okay.
You know, some may want to go for all kinds of investment. Some will want to do TB. Some will want to even invest in the businesses they find themselves in. So that depends on which one works for you. Okay. Yeah, so with that one, that I think the consultants are the best.
Yeah, so tell us some of the areas for investment. Unfortunately, our time is almost up to, serious, 2 minutes.
What I'll say is that investment depends on which instrument to use, depend on your financial goal.
Okay.
So some you are looking at a long-term investment, some you are looking at short-term. So if it's short-term, then you're looking at the T-bills and the rest. If it's long-term, then sometimes you're looking at shares. You are looking at even mutual funds, that is medium to long-term. So depending on what your goal is, you pick the instrument that would serve your need.
But is it necessary for a modern man to invest so much?
No, you shouldn't over-invest. I mean, the book would tell you that at least 20% of your income should go into savings. Okay. That is the minimum. They tell you should make sure that at least you have 6 months of your salaries stored, just in case if you lose your job. Yes. You can maintain, so keep the same lifestyle for 6 months, hoping that within a 6 months you'll be able to find a job. But these days, from what is happening, I realize that even a 6 months is too short.
Too short.
So you should be looking at minimum a year.
Okay.
So that is, and the problem is that we don't start saving early. As Ghanaians, I don't know about the West, but Ghanaians, we don't start saving early. We wait till we are 40, we are 30, then reality checks on us. Well, hey, I have just about 20 years to go on pension. I have just about 30 years to go on pension. Then you are forced to invest aggressively.
Yes.
But whereas if you had started early and be putting down bit by bit, in the long term, you would get a substantial amount in your savings. Realize that maybe when you start with 50 to 100 cedis a month, you think the returns is not that much. But if you did it some 10 years, 20 years ago, it would be, it should be something substantial after 10 years or 15 years. So always have to match your need with the particular investment instrument to invest in. Okay.
Doug, we want you to wrap up because our time is up. What are you telling about your viewers? Now today we were able to just touch on our sexuality and finance. Unfortunately, we have a lot, but we couldn't talk about. But Doug, tell us something. Why should trending men, modern men, stay financially stable, or be their financial integrity should be as paramount? And use it to wrap up for us. Hello, Doug, I can't hear you.
Generally, without a good financial management, you really cannot make any progress with your life. And so, and when you are in need or you are not satisfied, you are likely not to do what you're supposed to do well. And so I want to say that people should actually be content with what they have, and they should have a long-term plan of improving on themselves, on their finances and everything that happens around them. And so if you know that you want to achieve these financial goals and you give yourself some time, it's likely you're going to achieve it. Wow. But it is when we want to achieve things in a very, very short time, then we're exposed to all kinds of temptations. And so I want to encourage people to have a long-term plan about their finances. And also they should simplify their lives. and focus on what is, important in this life. Because we'll realize that if we focus on what is really necessary and important, we really don't need so much to be able to be satisfied or happy in this life. We wouldn't need so much. And so we should have a long-term plan so that we can be able to achieve things gradually. And we should also simplify our lives. That is what I want to tell them.
Wow, thank you so much. We'll go to Facebook and then WhatsApp and read some of our messages here. I have Emmanuel. If I'm not able to mention your surname, well, just forgive me, Emmanuel Honla. He's saying that, hi, I'm enjoying the program, stay blessed. And then we have another, we just lost one. Okay, so there is another one. Don't just save to support events of unforeseen losses of employment. Don't just save to support events of unforeseen losses of employment. Also take insurance cover to safeguard unforeseen situations for yourself and the family. And then we have Onyankropon Ba Prince. This is very educative and life-touching discussion for all men of today. And on WhatsApp, we have 1, 2 on our WhatsApp. And this is also saying that, wow, I could see that men don't build themselves because of girls. But the problem is that how the ladies take their fashion these days. Andrew Kofi from Elmina. Andrew, if the lady take her fashion to the top, you to stay in the middle. Don't go near the lady. So, okay, we have most men fall because lust control their body. Actually, their body mind should control their feelings. Thanks from Alexander Kwashi Davezi. So these are the contributions we have on our WhatsApp page and on our Facebook. We thank you so much, my dear lovely viewer, for joining us today on Family Life on Hope TV. We want to make a date with you next week. Next week, probably, we are going to talk about another aspect of this modern man. Elder, you are going to be here for the next 1 month. So tell Homa Consulting that today and tomorrow, next week, next 2 weeks, you are for Family Life. Yes, with me here are 3 gentlemen. I have Elder, let me put the Elder aside, okay. Mr. Kobna Holman from Holman Consulting Limited, and then Daniel Tufo from Etla Group of Companies, and Dr. Isaac Arthur Newman, a medical doctor, full medical doctor, and a psychologist. Doctors, thank you so much for the other perspective you brought to the discussion. It was so wonderful. The men know that you have 4 stages in life. 4 aspects of you. Which one do you fall into which? If you are in any of them, there is a danger that your sexual integrity is at stake. May God bless you. My name is Mrs. Betty Adum, and my wonderful fabric was given to me by ATL. ATL has so many wonderful clothing. If you want some for your wedding, your outdoorings, all the other things you want to do with club, just walk to ATL. If you want to be a distributor, they are there. If you want to be a wholesaler, they are also there. Walk to ATL and they will give you a wonderful fabric. Until next week, I want to say that Jesus is coming. Things are getting tough. Behaviors of our children are changing. We are recording a lot of murder issues. Let's pray that the Lord will keep us safe till next week. Next 2 weeks we'll be with you. Next week we might not be here with you. We are going to come next 2 weeks. And so till then, please make a date with us next 2 weeks. And let's meet on Family Life as we continue with our modern man. My name is Mrs. Betty Adum. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christ is King. Hallelujah. Christ is King. Hallelujah. Christ is King. We have His hope that burns within.